Hi, I am ThatPaulGuy, and it's Thursday. Thursday, June 11th, 2020, and today is going to be just, I'm letting you know now, it's going to be just a little bit weird. My weekly announcement, or my weekly PSA, I guess you could say, as some states are still opening back up, other states are still having their issues, other places in the world are still having their issues. Please just be safe. Good hygiene, distancing, stuff like that. Just be safe and let's all get through this together, okay? I'm going to make it short and sweet this week because there's a lot of stuff to get to, and it's all going to be kind of discombobulated. Sorry about that. So usually I talk to you about space and tech and gaming, and then, you're kidding, right? Which is my kind of odd news segment. My kind of odd news segment is going to be part of my gaming segment this week because it is, I'm not going to say it's odd, but it was, I wouldn't have thought that what happened. So we're going to go ahead and do that too. But anyway, you're going to start you off reminding you of last week, just in case you missed it. And then we're going to go ahead right into space news. Now, last week, and there's only a little bit to talk about because last week we covered space news quite a bit. SpaceX had a lot of stuff going on with the SN4. They had the Demo 2 launch. They had a Starlink launch and all that stuff. And true to form, SpaceX is going to continue that. They've got another Starlink launch slated for next week and another one for the week after that. So they've got a pretty full calendar. I'm going to leave a link to the a website that has launch schedules and stuff like that so you guys can kind of see. There's not a whole lot else going on except for that right now. China is launching some rockets. There's some other rockets going up in other parts of the world. But SpaceX does have 2 Starlink missions coming up, and they've got their regular stuff coming up all this month. So we probably just kind of got used to probably seeing at least one or two launches for the new satellite system, the Starlink, which is going to be the broadband system that Elon Musk has going up. Probably get used to seeing about 1 or 2 of those a month. In addition to their other stuff, their regularly scheduled business, which is satellites for the government. So that's going to continue, but SpaceX is just moving right along. Have not heard back about what's going on with Boeing. Boeing is supposed to be doing some work on their Starliner, their crew capsule. That's supposed to undergo a second unmanned test before it can carry before it can carry crew up. So we'll have to see what happens there. But we do know that the Dragon capsule, the Demo 2, is going to be up for probably about 3 or 4 months right now, up at the ISS, doing some stuff and taking care of things. And so they've been absorbed into that already 3-man crew. So there's a 5-man crew up there right now. Moving on to tech news. This gets a little interesting because there's, I don't want to say leaks. It started out as leaks, then it started out as being confirmed that yes, we are going to see Big Navi, which is supposed to be that's supposed to be AMD's version of the high-end GPUs or the graphic processing units. We're going to see that before consoles come out later this year. Consoles are due out around the holiday season. More on that later. Consoles are due out they're due out in the holiday season. And it has been now confirmed from AMD that we are going to see these video cards as well as some Ryzen 3 updates. We're going to see those a little bit later this year before consoles come out. Now the updated Ryzen CPUs we already kind of knew about. There's going to be some refreshes and some new CPUs that should be coming out. We'll see how that goes. But the one thing that was in question is whether we were actually going to see Big Navi or the GPUs. Well, that got confirmed, and then a couple of days later, a leak, well, all right, we will call it a leak, maybe on purpose by accident. It turns out that this might indeed be a leak of an RTX 3080 that's been spotted. Now, this has a slightly different design. It's a Founders Edition. It has a fan on each side and opposite sides. And you might look at it and go, well, that's labeled weird. But if you put it in your machine vertically and you're looking down into your machine, that little emblem there where it says 3080, that RTX 3080, will show up the right direction. So as you're looking at it, it's facing the right way. So we'll see what happens. This originally, nobody was able to kind of confirm this, or nobody was really sure about this until there seemed to be a fact-finding mission from NVIDIA on how this got out. And so they took it very, very seriously, very quickly. So it leads everybody in the tech community to believe that, yes, This is an actual RTX 3080 that's been spotted in the wild. So NVIDIA announcing or letting slip or a leak happening right after the announcement of AMD's NVIDIA killer graphics card that's supposed to be coming out. So we should see by the fall of this year or before consoles come out, we should see a couple of really, really high-end graphics cards. What does that mean for you and me? It might mean some other graphics cards slip in price a little bit so we can afford them. I don't know. So we'll have to see what happens, but that's what's going on there. It's really got slippery. It was a really slippery slope and a really weird kind of a chain of events that happened all at once, and everybody's still kind of scratching their head, going, "Okay, maybe." The other thing I've got in tech is that the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which is normally held in January of every year in Las Vegas, has been scheduled and is proceeding as scheduled in January of 2021. Yes, amongst the conundrum, they are going ahead with their plans. Now, they are doing a lot of stuff. That a lot of things will be switching over to some kind of web presentation. They are going to be having social distancing in place. They are going to be taking a lot of precautions. They are planning now, given the amount of time they have to plan this and what they're doing, they probably can do this pretty well. But for those of you that aren't quite sure what the Consumer Electronics Show is, that's when electronic shows, that's when electronic companies or household consumer companies, everybody that is somebody that does anything inside your house or your home or having to do with your lifestyle, usually pops up and puts a new product out or shows their new products. This could be TVs, this could be it could be personal assistants. I don't want to say the Alexa name or the anything like that, but that could be those types of things. Those could be things for your kitchen. This could be Wi-Fi accessories. This could be anything having to do with your household or living that has something to do with electronics in nature. Any of those things, they've all been introduced. This could do with phones. This could do with anything. So they have announced that, yes, they are going to do this. It's going to start on January 6th of next year, run through the 9th. It's not going to be very long, but these are usually, I believe, between 3 and 5 days. I don't remember for sure. It is going to be in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is starting to open up now with some, I don't want to say rather lax or lenient kind of standards, but they're trying the market out. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen. So we'll have to see how each casino and the county really handles things out there. But the Consumer Electronics Show is scheduled for 2021, January 6th through the 9th, so we'll have to see how it goes and what happens and how we're doing as we lead up to that. Last year, if you remember, one of the big stars of the show was Charmin with their robot, which was supposed to bring toilet paper to you if you were out of some, but you had to have it preloaded first. So if you were already out of toilet paper, you weren't getting any on robot. Sorry. So it wasn't one of those things that can make it magically appear when somebody else was hoarding. It's just supposed to bring you whatever you have on hand if you loaded it right. But anyway, I'm getting away from myself and going off on a tangent. I'm not going to do it like last week. Anyway, that's what we got there. Consumer Electronics Show, January in Las Vegas. In gaming news, okay, this is where the big stuff, this is my concentrated effort, and this is the reason why this is sort of haphazard and everything is all over the map, and a number of other things. It started out a couple days ago on June 9th when Bungie did their live event for Destiny 2, which, for those of you that don't know, Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game that was made free-to-play not too long ago. It's across all platforms. Originally, this was a for sale item or a retail item, and since then they have said, hey, look, we're just going to make this free to play, and you guys will just have to buy whatever expansions might be involved or be available. They did have, originally there was Destiny, then Destiny 2 kind of rewrote everything and redesigned everything, and they left a number of things behind from one game to the other, and that kind of upset a few people. But one of the things they did in this live event is they gave us some updates, not only on some of the ways that they want to handle this kind of changeover or new things that are coming into the game over the next couple of years, like keeping Destiny 2 as the base game and then doing some things along with that will make things flow into it. But they wanted to start announcing some of their expansion kits. Their first expansion is going to be called Beyond Light, and it comes out September 22nd. It's for pre-order right now. I haven't looked at the price. I can't tell you. I'm not really sure. I do have it on a couple of different platforms. I think I've got it on, I've got it on all 3 platforms. Well, there's more than that, but I've got it on my 3 platforms. This is an expansion that will be available September 22nd. There is also a new chapter. That new chapter is called Season of Arrivals. And one of the things they wanted to do with this is they wanted to uncover some of the things like the Cosmodrome that got left behind in Destiny. They're going to bring some of those things back. They are focusing in this new expansion on Europa, which is a whole new environment. It's a whole new setting and a whole new section of gameplay, a whole new storyline and everything that will be incorporated. And some of these older things that aren't being played as often, or that we aren't digging into, or we're not going back to all the time, or they're finding that people aren't playing as much, or they're not interested in as much. They still want to keep it as part of the game, but if they keep adding things on and adding things on, the game itself would be a horrendous size. So they're trying to keep this around 100 gigabyte. Yes, 10% of your hard drive, 100 gig. They're trying to keep it around 100 gigs. So what they're going to do is the stuff that's not being played as often, or the stuff that's not being taken care of, or that's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, they're going to put it in a vault. Now this will still be accessible. I don't know how they're going to do that, whether it's, maybe a PC player will have to keep something separate on a different in a different file or whatever. I don't know. But they're planning on putting some of these things into a vault where they're still accessible, but they're not going to be part of the main game that people will be playing all the time. So you're not having to download all that information, using up all your storage just to play the main game. Also in gaming news, June 19th is going to see the release of a very popular PlayStation game called The Last of Us Part 2. The reason why I bring this up and I mention this is because anything past July 13th is supposed to be compatible with or written for not only the PlayStation 4, but also written for the PlayStation 5 to take advantage of the faster SSD that is involved, the updated graphics and processing power and things of that nature. The Last of Us Part 2 allegedly is not going to be updated like that. They're sliding in just under the wire, but Jim Ryan, the CEO of PlayStation, has told us this is supposed to work. So we'll see what happens, but they released a statement. I'll give you some links to look at that as well, but we'll have to see. Speaking of the elephant in the room, the PS5, PlayStation earlier this afternoon held an event showing us their about probably 24 games, 24 titles that are going to be available for the PS5 at or right around launch. Some of them are going to be early 2021, they said, and that's pretty cool to let us know that at least. Some of these are going to be kind of quirky and fun, like Bug Snacks, Astro's Playroom, Stray, and Destruction All-Stars. Some of these are going to be ultra real, like Hitman 3 and NBA 2K21, and a game called Pragmata that looks pretty cool. There's a new agreement with Rockstar Games that has to do with GTA 5 and carrying that into the PS5 and to Grand Theft Auto Online, so that's pretty cool. And then there are some exclusives and some favorites that are coming back again. They showed exclusive of a new Spider-Man Miles Morales game that should be out near the holidays. Miles Morales was a Spider-Man that was into the Spider-Verse, and also he's been around in Marvel Comics since about 2011 or so on an alternate Earth. But that looks like it's a pretty interesting game. There's Abe is going to be back with a new Oddworld adventure. Ratchet and Clank are back with a new adventure. Sackboy is back with a new adventure from Little Big World. And one of my favorites, Gran Turismo, is back with some of the classic tracks like Trial Mountain. So I feel compelled to now go ahead and buy this console just for that game. Another game that looks absolutely stunning is a new Horizon game. It's called Forbidden West. And we're talking about the same characters, but now it's an adventure into North America and the west side of the United States. That just, some of the gameplay or some of what they showed us looked pretty stunning. So we'll have to see how all these come out. But the one thing that they waited until the very, very end to show us, and yes, they did, a new console. Oh, did I say a new console? I meant 2 new consoles. Not only is the PlayStation 5 going to be released in its regular form, there is going to be a digital form as well that won't have a DVD slot. Now, the one that does have the optical drive will have an Ultra DVD Blu-ray player. The one will not. It will just be the standard download and digital, so you'll have to use your SSD or what they will be selling as an external SSD. But they showed us quite an array of games. They showed us a huge selection of stuff, and then they did show us the PS5 and the PS5 digital. There are also going to be some other accessories that go along with that. We already know a little bit about the controller and the haptic feedback on it and the sound that they were talking about, the 3D audio. They're really trying to go all out with this and make all that in surround sound and a 3D audio type effect. So we'll obviously we'll have to see how that works out. But they are also releasing an HD camera, so webcamming and things will be available, and a new headsets to take advantage of the 3D audio. This PS5 is drop dead gorgeous. This is not a game console. This is a piece of furniture. This is a statement piece. And when Xbox came out with the Series X, I thought that looks pretty sharp. That looks really, really cool. When this popped out on the screen, I'm gonna say I was impressed. This thing is gorgeous. That's the only word I know to use for it. It is gorgeous. But yeah, who'd have thunk it, right? Anyway, but PlayStation did finally show us. Of course, nobody's talking about any kind of pricing. They're not giving us specific dates. Rumor is anywhere October, November timeframe. That would put it right before Christmas. Don't have any idea how many of these units are going to be available. Or like I said, what the pricing is or anything of that nature, or how many of these titles are actually going to be available at launch. The one good thing is most of these games, or most of the games that are coming out now or have just recently come out, are supposed to be compatible to the PS5 already. Some of these are going to be, I'm sure, launch titles or come out right at the same time. And many of these said holiday 2020. Some of them said early 2021. So we'll just have to see what happens. But there is a wide array of games that will be coming out. Many of them look incredible. The graphics, one of the things they were talking about with the Ratchet and Clank game that's coming out is now that Clank, the robot, you'll be able to see ray tracing effects in him, reflections and stuff like that. So they're really taking advantage of a lot of that. And you can see in the new Horizon title, Forbidden West, the reflections and everything when they were showing some of the stuff underwater, it really, really looked quite amazing. And we'll see how all this works out and what happens. But so far, this is looking really, really good. And PlayStation really did, this was an event. This was something that was pretty special. And if you get a chance, I'll leave a link to the YouTube feed for it. I watched it live on Sony or on PlayStation's channel or on their website, but I'll leave a link for it on the YouTube. It's already posted, and you guys can take a look at that. So, but that's all I got this week. I realized there was a lot of haphazard, a lot of gaming stuff, and a lot of just kind of all over the place. But I just got done watching the whole PlayStation presentation, trying to remember as much as I could and take notes and write things and make sure I got some screenshots. So I didn't get any video. All the screenshots I did take were right off the live feed, so credit for that. But anyway, that's all I got for this week. So folks, as always, you're welcome to share, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave me any kind of comments. Are you excited to see this thing in real life? Are you excited to, touch it and hold it in your hands, or maybe even buy one? Which one are you looking at buying? If you're a game console person, you're looking to buy the Series X, you're looking to buy the PS5 now, because that thing, yeah. And Gran Turismo's back. Did I mention that? Yeah. Gran Turismo. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, till next time, folks, I'll see you later.